Does this color look good on me? If you're asking that question, the answer is no. And that is exactly the topic of today's conversation. We are talking about color analysis. Do you need it to feel put together in your outfits, and will it help you overall understand your wardrobe? My name is Rebecca. If we haven't met before, I'm an education-led personal stylist here in Ottawa, and I've seen color analysis be all over the internet for the last season or two, and there are so many questions about it. And so the first thing I want to do is debunk some of those questions, or at least give us a base of what we're actually doing here. So color analysis was developed in the 1980s and is based on this book, Color Me Beautiful. Essentially, what happens is you go to a color analysis, they have you sit in a chair, they put your hair up away from your face, and they put swatches of different colors against your skin. And the intention is for you to see which colors look and feel the best. So there are 4 main seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. At the end of the experience, you should end up with a little color swatch card. Sometimes it's on like an actual kind of deck, sometimes it's on a long kind of stick, and there are different types of textures, including different types of metal. Now the question is, you have all these swatch cards and you know what colors look good on you. Now what? How does that help? And are they telling you things that you don't already know? I've had this conversation with color analysis since 2018, I think, when I started my fashion business, maybe even a little bit before that. And they've all told me the same thing. People intuitively know their colors, and they're just coming to us for validation. When I was a fashion designer, I was like,
that's weird.
And now that I'm a stylist, I'm like, wait, what? So let's talk about how you already know your colors and how we can use that information. And I really put together that same sort of like swatch deck that you need to feel put together and make shopping easier for you. When you go into your wardrobe, that's right, we're going to once again start this conversation with going to your existing wardrobe, because I bet you that you already have a palette there. And the way that you can tell is put all of the clothes that you already wear and already like in one section. And this is where everything you need to know is going to be in that section. It's going to tell me exactly which fashion theories you like, because remember, there are 5 and color is only one of them. So there's color, print, texture, detail, shape as well. Once you have everything there, you're going to know what colors you like. Most of the time, we don't have a bunch of colors in our wardrobe that just don't suit us. These ones that make their way into our wardrobe end up coming from outside sources. For example, I purchased a piece of clothing from a local maker. They didn't have my size, but they had said they have my size. Long story short, she felt bad and she included this t-shirt. I don't wear this t-shirt as much, and I sleep in it quite often because it just doesn't look good on me. And so I want you to look through a bunch of the colors that you don't usually wear, and I want you to put them on. That's right, we're gonna put them on, and you're gonna look at yourself in the mirror, but I want you to look at your face. Now, if you were telling me, Bex, I don't have any of those colors in my wardrobe, I only have black, do the same exercise, but in a mall or in a store of some kind. Grab a bunch of the different colors that are there, grab some pastels, grab some bright colors, grab some blue and some yellow and some green and some red, see in different shades. That's the key. You have to go in with different shades. So if you're going in with red, I want to see everything from like an orangey red to a coral to a pink to a darker kind of like true red to a cherry red to a plum, and then all the way into a purple. So I want you to bring in all of those colors, and I want you to put them on, and I want you to look at your face. So often we put on clothes in a change room and we are looking at our body. We're looking at how does the clothing look on our frame, and we stop thinking about what our face is doing. Your face will tell me everything I need to know about if you like that color or not. When you do like the color, your face will light up. Oftentimes people will smile. You'll at least have a little bit of smile in your eyes, and you are going to sometimes even like turn or twist. There will be physical movement almost always. From there, when you put on a color that doesn't suit you, your face is going to go, and or you're going to go out into the main area of the shop and you're gonna ask, does this look good on me? Now, the reason you could be asking yourself that question is maybe you really like the print, maybe you really like the shape, maybe there's a detail in that garment that you actually really do like, and that would be an indicator that you value another fashion theory more than you value color. And that's great. That's great information for us because it means that we're gonna have a much better understanding of your wardrobe the way that it is right now. However, I do not want you buying a garment because you like the buttons if you don't like the color as well. There are some colors that you're just going to say, ugh, whatever, I don't really care. Those are fine. If you're like, I like black, I'm gonna wear black, even if it's not in my color palette, then buy the one that has the cool buttons. Do it, because I can see you wearing it. And the reason I'm saying that is because it's going to fit your aesthetic. So remember that there's always your 5 fashion theories. There's 2 that you like the most, 1 that you're like, cool, and 1 that you're like, ugh, nope. Then you have the lens of your aesthetic, and this is what we have to look everything through. So if you've got a very soft palette, so if you really suit the like pastel-y colors, the springtimey colors, but you have a really edgy aesthetic and you want to push that envelope and have a conversation with your clothes, you may not gravitate to these types of colors anyway, just because they don't fit the narrative that you believe yourself to be. Remember that your aesthetic is arguably the most important part about this whole conversation, and then you're going to have your gender lean, and that's going to determine usually the shape or the details within the garment and how you feel the most confident. If it doesn't line up with all 3, you probably don't wear that piece of clothing very often. When we're talking about the color and why you would get a color analysis, usually it's because it's going to give you a general idea. Now, like I said, you have a general idea because you already know what's in your closet. Now, what you might notice also in your closet is within the clothes that you already have, you have a lot of prints or you have a lot of texture. If you have prints or texture, it means that you do not value color as much. It will still have a palette within that. It's just that means that you just don't particularly care that much about color. Maybe it's that you have a lot of interesting shapes, and the same thing applies. So step number 1 is that if your aesthetic and your other 2 top fashion theories aren't color, you don't need one. Because you are going to trust your intuition when it comes to colors, and you're going to focus more on texture and shape and figuring out proportion more so than figuring out color. Now, I've also seen clients who have only color. And when I say only color, I mean color, like capital C color, and they love it. And clients like that, 1, they're only putting colors that they like near their face, let me tell you. And then they're mixing color combinations together that make them feel joy and make them happy. And they care so little about what looks best on their face. So if you're that person who's like, oh, but I love like hot pink, and maybe hot pink isn't in your palette, wear the hot pink. You are going to rock that hot pink so much more than the baby pink that people are saying is looking good on you, because it's not gonna get that pow the same way as going through the aesthetic of I like big, vibrant, bold colors. Now, that being said, try out different versions of big, bold, vibrant colors. Maybe it's not hot pink, maybe it's hot lavender, or like an electric purple. Maybe it's electric blue. Try out different versions of the same pigment. So the easiest way to match colors together is by matching the pigment. So how much color is in the actual dye. So for instance, I would argue that these 2 colors go quite nicely together. Both of them are in that realm of pastels. They actually play really nicely together. And if I saw a dress with both of those colors, I would say, that's pretty. I think the thing that I really don't like about these is that's the word I would use. Oh, that's pretty. And I don't really resonate with the word pretty. I prefer to feel more edgy or more cool. This is another dress that I have, and you can see actually in the print, same idea. They're matching the pigment, even though you have a lighter blue here and a royal blue, as well as the green and the Kelly green and the chartreuse. They all have the same amount of pigment, which is why they work well together. Another good rule of thumb for matching colors is if it looks good in nature, it will look good on you. So if you look out your window and you see a tree with multiple shades of green, try multiple shades of green. That's a great 2026 trend right now, is to mix match greens and to really have it be a full color experience. Same sort of thing as, do blue and black go together? Have you seen it in nature? I've seen it on a raven, works for me. Do blue and green go together? Look at a peacock. Of course they do. So really, if you are like, oh, I have this dusty pink pair of pants and I don't know what goes with it, search online dusty pink in nature and see what other colors come up with it. It will give you a lot of inspiration about what you can wear to elevate that whole experience. Now, talking about elevating and put together outfits has so little to do with color. It's a really interesting experience because a lot of times put together just really means structured in some way. Now, it could be structured with the accessories, so something hard like an anchor point, which I also talk about in another one of my videos. It could be the actual structure of the garment, so a hot pink suit will still look put together compared to a black suit. It just maybe won't be worn in the same context. Now, this brings me up to my next point, which is, should you be doing a color analysis on a minor or on children? My answer is no. If you grew up in the 90s, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Giving children a box at such a young age where they don't get the opportunity to play with color and clothing and really have fun with it, and to start learning how the world will interact with them based on the clothing that they have chosen to wear, that is doing such a huge disservice to your kids. And I don't mean this from like, I'm not a parent. I have seen the aftermath of minors and teenagers and young adults who say, oh, I can only wear this. And it's the same feeling that we all felt in the 90s when we were told we have to do this. We have to change our body. We have to do something that makes us feel uncomfortable or against what we want to try because that's what this expert said. So in my opinion, I would keep the color analysis at least until you're an adult if you are going to do one, and let the kids have the moment to start building trust in themselves. Remember that clothing is the first time that children get an opportunity to start learning about how to trust themselves and how to build trust within themselves. So as a child, you get to choose what piece of clothing you put on. And when I say child, I'm talking about 15, 16 years old. They're going to school, they're making their own choices, they're putting on clothing that they feel good in, and they are allowing the world to interact with them a different way. So when a 16-year-old who wears, in my case, if I was wearing that lime green shirt, if I go to a Starbucks, someone might be like, oh, do you feel okay? You look really tired, you look ill. Do you want this? That is going to be feedback for me. The same thing is gonna happen when I wear something that goes with my colors. I'm gonna get feedback saying, oh my God, you look so nice today. And my brain is going to take that, internalize it, and then that is going to help build my intuition with how do I want the world to interact with me, and it starts building my skills to do that. When I was serving in my 20s, I got an opportunity to explore playing with clothing, and it was the best thing for me. For me, I got a chance to explore playing with more masculine styles because I knew and I had learned that when I present masculine, I don't get hit on as much, which means that I can do my job without being touched, without being like, without the hey babies, without any of that. And that was really beneficial to me and how I was able to navigate my life as an early 20-something throughout that experience. I would hate to have kids have that opportunity taken away because they're given swatch cards that say, here, you can only wear these colors. It also means that taking colors that work with you starts limiting the conversations you have with clothing. Clothing is an art form first. Like fashion is an art. Clothing retail is business, so that's how they sell you stuff. And this is arguably why the whole color analysis thing began in the first place, so they can sell you more things. So in art, The whole point is to start a conversation. It is to be disruptive, to create something that no one's ever created before. And now with AI, that art form is taking a massive leap because we are trying and actively doing things that have not been done before and putting things together in a way that have not been seen before. And that's really cool. And I would always want to encourage people to do that with their clothing. So we talked about how to tell the colors you like. We talked about how to know the colors you like in a test that you can do at home. We also talked about what colors go together. If there's anything else about color that I missed that you really want to have a quick answer to, please let me know and I will add that to my next video. I drop videos every week so that we can figure out your wardrobe together.